The last line of defense. High Counselor Zyrex stood before the Galactic Federation's emergency session, her crystalline form dimming with distress as she delivered the report. The massive chamber, usually alive with the chatter of 1,000 species, fell silent as holographic displays showed another dying world, the seventh this cycle. "The entropy waves continue to spread," she announced, her voice resonating through the neural networks connecting the assembled representatives. "Our most advanced civilizations are falling. The void between realities grows wider, and our universe bleeds energy faster than we can contain it." The Federation's greatest scientists had discovered the truth too late. Their universe was dying, not in the traditional sense of heat death or big crunch, but something far more insidious. Reality itself was becoming unstable, bleeding vital energy into the void between dimensions. Their most advanced technologies, capable of reshaping planets and harnessing the power of stars, proved useless against this fundamental decay. But then they discovered something extraordinary on a primitive world called Earth. Ambassador Calvor, his gelatinous form shimmering with bioluminescent patterns, moved forward to present the findings. "We detected something unprecedented among the human young," he began, projecting images of Earth's children at play. "Their neural patterns generate quantum-stable fields, natural reality anchors that resist the entropy waves." The chamber erupted in surprised murmurs. What the Federation's most advanced machines couldn't achieve, human children did naturally through something they called imagination. "Our studies show their minds haven't been constrained by rigid technological frameworks," Calvor continued. "They still possess the ability to believe in the impossible, to dream without limits. This creates micro-stabilizations in local space-time." High Counselor Zyrax's crystalline form pulsed with hope for the first time in cycles. "Then we must act quickly. Begin collecting specimens for study. Their abilities could save billions of lives." But Administrator Venn, an ancient being of pure energy, raised an objection. "The humans are primitive, yes, but they're also an emerging sentient species. Our laws forbid interference with their development." "Laws?" Zyrex's form flashed with frustration. "Entire civilizations are collapsing. The humans won't even notice a few thousand children missing. We'll keep them safe, comfortable, and return them once we've synthesized their ability." The vote was swift, desperate, and nearly unanimous. Only a few representatives abstained, troubled by the ethical implications. Within days, the Federation's most advanced stealth ships deployed to Earth, using technology beyond human detection to begin collecting children with the strongest reality anchoring abilities. They didn't expect the humans to notice so quickly. They certainly didn't expect them to understand what was happening, and they absolutely didn't anticipate the fury their actions would unleash. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the patterns on her quantum resonance scanner, her hands trembling as she finally understood what she was seeing. As head of DRPA's Anomaly Detection Division, she'd been tracking strange energy signatures across the globe for months. But this was beyond anything they'd imagined. "General Richards," she spoke into her secure line, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I can prove it now. The disappearances, the energy signatures, they're all connected. Someone is taking our children. But it's not human traffickers. It's something much bigger." The general's voice was grave. "How many?" "At least 3,000 globally in the past month. But that's not the worst part." She pulled up another scan. "These energy signatures, they're not from Earth. We're dealing with something far beyond our current technological understanding. And they're specifically targeting children with unique neurological patterns." In orbit, cloaked from human detection, First Observer Miral watched the primitive world with growing unease. The collection process had been proceeding smoothly, but something was wrong. The humans were showing signs of awareness far beyond their technological level. Their primitive instruments shouldn't be able to detect Federation technology, yet they were adapting, learning, beginning to see patterns where they should see nothing. "High Council, Merrill transmitted, "I recommend we accelerate the collection process. The humans are demonstrating unprecedented adaptive capabilities." The response came quickly, "Proceed as planned. They cannot possibly understand what's happening, let alone resist our technology." But on Earth, humanity was already mobilizing. In secret facilities across the globe, military leaders and scientists gathered, sharing data and theories. The children's disappearances had triggered something primal in the human psyche, a combination of protective fury and innovative determination that would soon shake the foundations of the galaxy. Dr. Chen's quantum resonance scanners began picking up new signatures. The Federation's ships were moving again, preparing for another collection sweep. But this time, Earth would be ready. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why you should never, ever threaten their children. The first shots of an impossible war were about to be fired, and the Federation was about to learn why humans were called Deathworlders, not just for their physical capabilities, but for their unfathomable determination to protect their own. The children's gift. The Federation's research vessel, Starlight Seeker, hung in the void between worlds, its crystalline structure housing 3,000 human children in carefully designed habitation pods. Chief Researcher Lenthal moved through the observation deck, his tentacular appendages gracefully manipulating holographic displays showing the children's neural patterns. Each child slept peacefully in environments crafted to maximize their reality anchoring abilities. The pods resembled bedrooms from Earth, filled with toys and books, maintaining the illusion of normalcy. The Federation might be desperate, but they weren't cruel, or so they told themselves. "Remarkable," Lenthal whispered, watching the quantum stability field generated by a 6-year-old girl named Emma. Her dreams literally strengthened the fabric of space-time around the ship. Their power grows stronger when they're together, creating a cascading effect of reality reinforcement. But something was changing. The children, even in their induced sleep, were beginning to dream in sync. The ship's sensors detected growing waves of quantum coherence, patterns that shouldn't be possible according to the Federation's understanding of physics. In her pod, Emma dreamed of home. But unlike normal dreams, hers began reaching out, touching the minds of other children. Their collective imagination, unconstrained by adult limitations, started weaving something new into the fabric of reality. Alarms blared across the ship. "Sir," a junior researcher called out, their photosynthetic skin flashing with panic patterns. "The quantum fields, they're becoming self-sustaining." On the main display, swirling patterns of energy connected all 3,000 pods. The children's dreams were manifesting as visible streams of golden light, merging and growing stronger with each passing moment. Lenthal rushed to the control center, his species' normally calm demeanor cracking under stress. Impossible. Their neural patterns are synchronizing across quantum barriers. They're reaching out too. The ship shuddered as reality rippled around them. In that moment, every child on board dreamed the same dream. Of home, of family, of being free. Their combined desire punched through the carefully maintained barriers of space-time. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen's quantum resonance scanners exploded with readings. "General Richards, we've got something." Her fingers flew across holographic displays. "The energy signature we've been tracking, it just spiked off the charts." In orbit around a dying world at the edge of Federation space, another research vessel detected something unprecedented. The entropy waves eating away at reality suddenly recoiled from a new force. The pure, unfiltered power of human imagination multiplied 3,000-fold. The Federation Council erupted in chaos as the data poured in. The human children weren't just generating stability fields. They were actively reshaping quantum foundations. Their collective dreams were literally rewriting the rules of reality on a fundamental level. High Counselor Zyrax watched in awe as the readings came in. "All this time," she whispered, her crystalline form resonating with revelation, "we thought we needed to study them, to replicate their ability. But we completely misunderstood. It's not a technological process. It's pure creativity, unlimited by adult preconceptions of what's possible. But the Federation's actions had set in motion forces they couldn't control. The children's shared dream space was growing stronger, more coherent. Their natural desire to return home was manifesting as actual changes in the quantum fabric of space. On the Starlight Seeker, Lenthal made a desperate decision. "We have to shut down the pods," he ordered. "The field strength is beyond our containment capabilities." But it was too late. The children's shared dream had become a beacon, a quantum lighthouse visible to anyone who knew how to look. And on Earth, humanity's finest minds had just learned exactly what to look for. Dr. Chen stared at her screens in triumph as coordinates crystallized from the chaos of data. "Got you," she whispered, immediately transmitting the location to military command. The Federation's invisibility meant nothing now. The children themselves had become a signal that no technology could hide. In orbit, First Observer Miral received increasingly panicked reports. The humans weren't just detecting Federation ships now. They were actively tracking them through means that defied conventional science. Somehow, they had learned to follow the quantum wake of their own children's dreams. The Federation had wanted to study human creativity, to understand how children could naturally stabilize reality. Instead, they had inadvertently created a bridge between 3,000 young minds, unleashing a power that their most advanced science couldn't comprehend. As humanity prepared its response, the children dreamed on, their shared consciousness reaching across space to touch their home world. They had become something new, not just reality anchors, but reality shapers. And through their eyes, both humanity and the Federation would soon learn that the universe was far more mutable than anyone had imagined. The stage was set for a confrontation that would redefine the relationship between imagination and reality, between the wisdom of ages and the unlimited potential of young minds. The Federation had sought to harness human creativity. They were about to learn that some forces can only be partnered with, never controlled. Humanity's response. General Sarah Richards stood in the UN Security Council chamber, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays showing Federation ship movements. Representatives from every major nation sat in tense silence as she delivered humanity's response to the abduction of their children. 3 hours ago, we confirmed the location of all missing children, she announced, her voice steady but charged with controlled fury. They're being held on vessels throughout this sector of space. Our message to the Federation is simple: return our children immediately, or face the consequences. The Federation's response came swiftly through their newly revealed communications channel. High Counselor Zyrax's crystalline form shimmered above the UN chamber. "Humans, you don't understand. Your children are helping us save billions of lives. The universe itself is unraveling. Their unique abilities are not yours to take," Richards interrupted. "We understand more than you think." Dr. Chen. Dr. Chen stepped forward, her quantum resonance data floating beside her. "The children's shared dream space has given us unprecedented insight into the entropy crisis. But the Federation's approach is fundamentally flawed. You can't force this power. It has to be freely given." In orbit, First Observer Miral watched with growing alarm as primitive human vessels began appearing around their ships through means that should have been impossible. Their stealth technology, perfected over millennia, was being bypassed by something that defied conventional physics. The humans had learned to track the quantum wake of their children's dreams, using their own primitive technology in ways the Federation had never imagined. More disturbing still, the human ships weren't armed with standard weapons. They carried devices that pulsed with the same reality-anchoring energy as the children. "Impossible," Miral whispered as the readings came in. "They've weaponized the quantum stability field." On Earth's surface, in hidden facilities across the globe, thousands of parents had volunteered for an experimental program. Dr. Chen's team had discovered that the emotional bond between parent and child could be technologically amplified, creating a bridge through the quantum foam of space itself. The Federation's ships found themselves surrounded by vessels piloted by the parents of the very children they had taken. Each human ship radiated waves of pure protective intent, transformed into reality-warping energy by machinery that looked crude to Federation sensors, but operated on principles their science had never considered. "This is your final warning," General Richards broadcast. "Release our children, or we will demonstrate exactly why taking them was your worst mistake." In the Federation Council chamber, panic spread as the implications became clear. The humans weren't just tracking their ships. They were beginning to understand and manipulate the same fundamental forces that the children access naturally. High Counselor Xyrox's form pulsed with distress. "The entropy crisis will destroy us all if we don't." "Then work with us," Dr. Chen interrupted. "Your way isn't just unethical. It's inefficient. The children's power comes from freedom, from creativity, from love. You're limiting their potential by keeping them captive." On the Starlight Seeker, Lenthal watched in fascination as new readings appeared. The human vessels weren't just generating stability fields. They were somehow strengthening the children's natural abilities. The parent-child bond was creating a feedback loop of pure creative energy that was actually accelerating the reality anchoring effect. "All Federation vessels," High Counselor Xyrox's voice echoed across space. "Stand down. Release the human children immediately." Her crystalline form had dimmed with the weight of realization. "We were wrong. Our desperation led us to commit an unforgivable error." One by one, the habitation pods began opening. Children awakened to find their parents' ships waiting, bridges of light and love connecting them across the void. The Federation had sought to harvest their power. Instead, they had inadvertently helped humanity unlock its next evolutionary step. As the children were reunited with their families, Dr. Chen's sensors detected something remarkable. The reality stability field hadn't weakened with the children's release. It had grown stronger. The joy of reunion, the relief of parents embracing their children, was generating waves of quantum coherence, more powerful than anything the Federation had managed to produce through force. This was never about technology, Dr. Chen explained to the watching Federation Council. It was about understanding that the most powerful forces in the universe can't be contained or controlled. They have to be nurtured, protected, and allowed to grow naturally. The Federation ships hung in space, their advanced technology humbled by the sight of human families reuniting, each embrace sending ripples through the quantum fabric of reality. They had sought to save the universe through power and control, only to discover that the solution lay in something far more fundamental, the unconditional love between parent and child. As the last children were returned, a new era dawned. Humanity had proven itself not just capable of defending its own, but of understanding and manipulating forces that the Federation's greatest minds had struggled to grasp. The entropy crisis wasn't over, but for the first time, there was real hope, born not from advanced technology, but from the simple, unlimited power of human love and creativity. Understanding both sides. In the aftermath of the children's return, an unprecedented meeting took place aboard the Federation's diplomatic vessel Unity. Representatives from Earth sat across from Federation leaders, the space between them charged with lingering tension and newfound respect. Dr. Chen studied the holographic display showing the entropy crisis in its full scope. Entire galaxies were dimming as reality itself bled away into the void. The Federation's desperation suddenly seemed far more understandable, if not excusable. "You have to understand," Xyrox explained, her crystalline form subdued. "We watched civilizations far more advanced than our own crumble. Worlds that had stood for millions of years simply faded away. When we discovered your children's abilities, it seemed like our only hope." General Richards leaned forward, her expression stern but thoughtful. "And you never considered simply asking for help?" Explaining the situation. Lenthal, now serving as a scientific liaison, rippled with embarrassment. "We underestimated your species. Our studies suggested you were too primitive to grasp the complexity of the crisis. We were wrong on multiple levels." The holographic display shifted to show new data. The combined readings from the children's shared dream space and the parent-child quantum bonds that had been formed. The patterns were unlike anything the Federation had seen in its millennia of scientific advancement. Your societies value individual growth and creativity. Lenthal continued. We had forgotten the power of such things. Our civilizations became so focused on technological solutions that we lost touch with more fundamental forces. Dr. Chen pointed to a particular set of readings. The entropy crisis isn't just a physical problem. It's a crisis of imagination. The universe isn't just unraveling. It's losing its potential for new possibilities. That's why our children's natural creativity can combat it. The implications stunned the Federation representatives. Their most advanced psychological models hadn't even considered such a concept. The universe wasn't just a collection of physical laws. It was in some way alive with possibility itself. When you took our children, a parent representative named Michael Zhang spoke up. You thought you were saving the universe, but you were thinking like machines, trying to harvest and replicate a power that can only exist in freedom. The Federation Council members shifted uncomfortably. Their societies had indeed become increasingly rigid, predictable, safe. They had traded the chaos of creativity for the stability of pure logic. In doing so, they might have inadvertently contributed to the very crisis they fought against. On the massive view screen, a dying star system flickered. But around it, a faint golden glow had begun to appear, the effect of nearby human children, now voluntarily helping to stabilize reality through supervised sessions that felt more like play than work. Our children aren't just reality anchors, Dr. Chen explained. They're reality innovators. Their unfettered imagination doesn't just stabilize existing patterns, it creates new ones. They're not fighting entropy. They're teaching the universe how to dream again. The Federation's greatest scientists had begun studying this phenomenon, not by analyzing the children, but by learning from them. They watched in wonder as young humans turned scientific principles into games, their pure creativity reshaping quantum fields in ways that centuries of advanced research hadn't achieved. We propose a new partnership, General Richards announced, not based on force or desperation, but on mutual understanding and growth. Our children can help save your worlds, but only if they're allowed to do it their way, through play, through imagination, through joy. High Counselor Xyrax's form brightened with hope. And in return, what does Earth ask for this help? Knowledge, Dr. Chen answered simply. Access to your scientific understanding, your technology. Not to copy it, but to help us grow responsibly as a species, to ensure we don't lose our creativity as we advance. The Federation representatives conferred briefly before Xyrax spoke again. We offer more than knowledge. We offer an acknowledgement of our error and a formal apology to your species. The Federation hasn't admitted a mistake in 10,000 years. There's something else, Lenthal added. Our preliminary studies suggest that this ability isn't limited to your children. The potential exists in all humans, just dormant in adults. With proper training, the implications were staggering. Humanity wouldn't just be helping to save the universe, they would be evolving alongside it, learning to balance technological advancement with the raw creative power that made their species unique. As the meeting concluded, both sides felt the weight of history shifting. The Federation had sought to exploit humanity's gift, but instead found themselves learning to rediscover their own lost potential. A crisis born of universal entropy had led to an unexpected renaissance of imagination and possibility. Above Earth, the Federation ships no longer hid themselves. They hung in orbit openly, their advanced technology now dedicated not to stealing humanity's power, but to learning how to nurture and protect it. The universe was still unraveling, but for the first time, there was hope, not just for survival, but for a new kind of growth that neither humanity nor the Federation had imagined possible. A new partnership. 1 year after the crisis, the landscape of human civilization had transformed. Rising from the plains of Kansas stood the first Inter-Reality Academy. its crystalline spires merging Federation architecture with human design. Children's laughter echoed through halls that doubled as quantum stability generators, their play strengthening the very fabric of space-time. Emma, now 7, sat cross-legged in the Academy's central garden, surrounded by a group of younger children. As she told them a story about dragons and starships, the air around them shimmered with possibility. Federation sensors recorded how her imagination created ripples in reality itself, each creative thought pushing back against the encroaching entropy. Dr. Chen watched from the observation deck, accompanied by Lenthal and a holographic projection of High Counselor Xyrax. "The effect is spreading," she reported, gesturing to global data streams. "Adults who spend time with the children are beginning to show similar abilities. It's like they're remembering how to dream without limits." Across Earth, similar academies were rising. Not sterile research facilities, but places of wonder where human creativity merged with advanced science. Federation teachers learned to think like children again, while human scientists discovered how to channel imagination into reality-stabilizing force. General Richards, now heading the Earth Federation Joint Defense Initiative, entered with urgent news. "The entropy wave approaching the Centauri sector has been contained. 300 children working with their parents and Federation scientists managed to not just stop it, but reverse it." The implications were staggering. For the first time since the crisis began, affected areas of space were being restored. The universe wasn't just being prevented from unraveling. It was being rewoven, stronger than before. "We're seeing unexpected developments," Lenthal reported, his tentacles dancing with excitement. "The children aren't just stabilizing reality. They're improving it, adding possibilities that never existed before. It's like they're teaching the universe how to evolve." In orbit, the Starlight Seeker had been transformed into humanity's first deep space training vessel. The same pods that once held captive children now served as imagination amplifiers, allowing young volunteers to reach out and touch the fabric of space itself. But this time, they worked with their parents, their natural bond strengthening their ability to reshape reality. Emma's voice carried across the Academy grounds as she reached the climax of her story. Around her, alien children had joined the human ones, their different physiologies forgotten in the shared joy of imagination. As they played together, sensors detected quantum stability fields extending far beyond Earth, creating a network of creative force that spread through the galaxy. "We were so focused on the physical laws of space," Xyrax mused, her crystalline form glowing with newfound understanding. "We never considered that consciousness itself might be fundamental to reality's stability. That joy and creativity could be as important as gravity or electromagnetism." The Federation's greatest scientific minds had begun studying human art, literature, and music, finding in them patterns that echoed through quantum fields. Every human story, every act of creation, contributed to the universe's resilience. What had seemed primitive to advanced aliens now revealed itself as a fundamental force they had forgotten how to access. Dr. Chen's quantum resonance scanners had evolved, incorporating Federation technology to track not just stability fields, but the spread of creative potential throughout the galaxy. "Look at this," she said, highlighting a particular reading. "Adult humans who've learned to access their dormant abilities are starting to pass them on. It's like creativity itself is evolving." In the Academy's engineering wing, human scientists worked alongside Federation experts, developing technology that worked with imagination rather than trying to control it. They had discovered that the parent-child quantum bond could be technically amplified without losing its organic nature, creating stability fields powerful enough to shield entire star systems. "The entropy crisis forced us to grow," General Richards reflected, watching Emma lead her mixed group of human and alien children in a new game. But not in the way anyone expected. "We didn't need to become more like the Federation. They needed to remember what we never forgot." High Counselor Xyrax's projection nodded. "Your species taught us that advancement doesn't have to mean losing touch with fundamental forces. Technology and creativity aren't opponents. They're partners in the dance of reality." As if to emphasize her point, a new stability field blossomed above the academy. Emma and her friends had invented a game that, without them realizing it, was generating quantum patterns more complex and stable than any the Federation had achieved through centuries of research. The universe was changing, evolving not just through the cold progression of physical laws, but through the warm touch of imagination. Humanity had proven that their greatest strength wasn't their resilience or their fury when threatened, but their unlimited ability to dream and create. The Federation ships in orbit no longer appeared alien and threatening. They had become part of Earth's new reality, partners in an adventure that would reshape the galaxy. The children who had once been taken against their will now volunteered eagerly to help, knowing that their dreams and games were literally saving worlds. As the sun set over the academy, Emma finished her story. The air sparkled with possibility, reality itself seeming to hold its breath in anticipation of what these young minds would dream up next. In the end, the Federation had sought to save the universe through force, and found themselves saved by something far more powerful, the simple, unlimited wonder of a child's imagination. The entropy crisis wasn't over, but it was no longer a source of despair. Each new day brought fresh discoveries as humanity and the Federation learned to combine their strengths. They had found that the universe wasn't just a place of physical laws and cold equations. It was, at its heart, a story waiting to be told, a dream waiting to be dreamed, a reality waiting to be imagined anew.